Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show. Another exciting show and definitely another exciting guest. We're going to Philly to talk with a beautiful young lady that's not only Russian, but Ukrainian. But let me go deeper here. This is definitely a beast mindset story. Imagine, if you will, coming through trauma like we all do. But the thing is, how do we come out of this? And how do we find the purpose with everything that we've gone through? How about learning a language, for one, a whole new language? Then this is the part that really shook me. It moved me. Walking away from the wrong person. Now tell me that ain't some deep SHIT. So today, this beautiful young lady is going to tell us how all this put that beast mindset of hers into motion. Let's welcome to the show, Elena. I'm going to get this last name. Mizernaya. Did I get it right?
Mizernaya. Yes, you were very close. 90%.
Close enough. Let's get busy. Ukraine and Russian. What a hellified combination. Tell me a little bit about you and how this came to be.
That's so true. It is very crazy mix, I would say. Well, my father, he's Ukrainian, and my mom, she's Russian. They fall in love. They all both musicians, and like they actually met each other like literally on tour, and that's how it happened.
Like, did you get how do you merge the two together? You know, with so much, when you hear Russian and Ukrainian, you don't usually hear, love at first sight situations.
Well, we used to be actually like almost like one. We never even had a kind of border before. We was like we didn't like we was going to each other, Ukraine and Russia, like no problem, because I have family there and I have family there.
Right.
But now it's a little bit changed. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not gonna say anything about it.
So,
but yeah,
go ahead. So you're in Philly right now. So how did you manage to come to? Were you born in the region of Russia and Ukraine?
I was born in Russia, and then I was brought up. Like I grew up. Literally, I spent all my 7-8 years of my life in Ukraine. So it's like even for me, I consider that this for me being very important, and Russia and Ukraine both. And then I came here as a student with the student program, but I came to New York. I'm only in Philadelphia for like 3-4 years, so I'm considering myself more like a New Yorker because I spent there more than like 10 years. That's like the first city I literally went to, and I'm just where I stayed the longest.
So how did you wind up in New York?
In New York, well, I was married at that time. I got married. My ex-husband, he was living there, and that's how I moved to New York. Yes.
Now, you talked about. I'm looking at your bio, and thank you. First, let me say thanks for coming on the show and getting ready to share your story. You talked about a story that dealt with a lot of overcoming trauma and bulimia, and to the point that you use treatment as finding a whole new language. How did all this trauma and stuff come to be for you?
You know what? I believe I had this trauma when my parents divorced back home, and that's how it started. And that's why I came here. I already kind of had that thing, and I couldn't find any treatment. I couldn't find I I had bulimia for more than 10 years. It was a very long way to just recover from that. It was steps, I would say. I had a very unhealthy relationship with the food, and that's why it prevented me from doing a lot of great things at that time. I couldn't really, and I believe actually that was another thing why we divorced with my first ex-husband. I was an initiator, but I think it's just when I have bulimia, it really does something to you a lot. Like you get insecure, you're not even able to hold a regular job. I could say that because you depend on that. It's terrible to describe. I definitely wish nobody ever experienced that. But yeah, it took me years. It took me years, step by step. I did it myself actually, and I'm very proud of it. Yeah, and I built the normal healthy way of eating, and I don't have it for more than like 7 years now. Yeah.
When you talk about bulimia, how did you know that that's what you had? And then you mentioned that something about your parents led you to using the food for your coping mechanism. Did I get that correct?
What is that again?
You mentioned the first question. How were you diagnosed that this was a condition that you had, and was it the things that your mom and dad was going through that led you to choose food as your coping mechanism, so to speak?
My, I think what really caused my bulimia is a trauma that my parents got divorced. But I think that my parents, yes, they had a different of way of eating, and some foods is not suitable for me. I don't need them right now, and I can't. But nobody really knew about it. And then I start reading and searching around what's going on with me. And even when I came here, I found the place where they kind of treating bulimia. And I went, I think, for like one session, but they instead of I didn't go there back again. They instead of helping you out, they just put like almost a sandwich in front of you, like, and it's telling you that you have to finish this food and not throw it out. So that was not helpful, and that's not I didn't help me, and I didn't ever come back to that. And then I was looking my own ways for that, how to actually treat it, and it helped. Yeah.
Now, this condition that you was diagnosed with, you was it was diagnosed when you were still in Russia and you or in Ukraine.
I had it in Russia, but I never kind of had um never realized what it is exactly. I just, like you overeat and you don't kind of throw up and that's it. I never thought how serious it is. I kind of had it, and then I went to to America, and then I still continue having it. So I read about it a little bit more, and it's not going away. It's like on a constant basis. Like I had people telling me actually that too, like friends, like you gotta check and stuff and everything. And that's how I actually start realizing how serious it is. I wasn't really taking it very serious. I thought, no, you just eat and throw it up and everything. But it really messes up with your life a lot. Number one, it's your self confidence. You're not confident about yourself. I don't know how to explain it, but you're very insecure about yourself. You don't like anything. You barely can hold the job, and I had difficulties of holding the job. I was not able to do it. It was terrible. It was terrifying. I'm very happy that I get rid of it.
How was it difficult holding the job? Because it's I'm not I'm not diminishing the condition. I'm trying to understand the condition, but how was it impairing you to be able to work and carry on a relationship? Were you going out and eating food and then just going, "Ugh," when you was done?
Yeah, yeah, yes, exactly. And another thing is, yeah, like you go on a date or whatever, you overeat, you go in the bathroom and you're doing it. It's terrible. You can't do anything without it. The same with work. You have half an hour at work break, for example, right? They give you for the food. You have to eat. You eat a lot, obviously. Then you go and doing it, and I mean, people obviously know it. Like they're noticing it. Somebody's gonna be in the bathroom or whatever. And plus, you're coming out of the bathroom, obviously not looking your best, even washed and everything. But yeah, yeah, and it's like it's terrible.
When did you realize that it was becoming a serious problem for you? Because this has been going on for quite some time. You're now in the United States and you're carrying this illness, into a new chapter of your life. When did it really start to become? When was it really brought to your attention that what I need to handle this?
When you, for example, have a shift at work, right? And something's you stressing you, because it's usually when you work, you got like some stressful moments and stuff, something stressing you, you right away go into the food, to like make yourself feel better, right? And then obviously you have to do all over again. You gotta eat a lot, and then you gotta go throw it out and stuff. And it's like, what, half an hour, 40 minutes you're not present at your work. So that's already affecting you, and you're definitely going to have managers come and talk to you about it, what's going on, right? And it's like regarding any stress, I would say. And another thing, of course, is you literally spend all your money you had on food, because you have this, all right, you go, you're gonna like go and throw it out, so you go and get this, I don't know, 3 bagels, 2 bagels, whatever you can eat, right? And it's all cost money. You spend your money all mostly on food, just on food. It's a problem. And I was working in the like a bar restaurant industry at that time. I was making a lot of money. I was in New York City and stuff. I was literally spending everything on food. That's crazy.
And all this was because of your parents' divorce. This was what you thought it was from, correct?
I think it's good. I had first love at that time, and our parents did not want us to be together. Not mine, not his. So they kind of separated us. Then my parents got divorced. It was just everything. Another thing, I was a pianist, and I wasn't really feeling it. I would say that. Like my parents, musicians, they made me, like I think classical piano is great, and I've spent 14 years of my life on that. But I always wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to do something different. I would love to be like an entertainment, but not the classical piano. Classical piano takes all your time, so they literally take you out of this, social circle of yours. You just like singing, playing. That's what they do.
So let me get this straight. So you came to New York on a classical music scholarship, or you came to perform in the performing arts? Like, how did you even step foot in New York? What was your career path?
So I came as a student. I came as a student on a student visa with my friends. They used to have a program where you can just work and travel. You come for like 3 months, and then you just, after like 3 months, you going back. But you have to be in college, and that's how I came.
Wow. So when you get here, you decide to make this pretty much permanent for you.
No, I didn't. I was planning to go home. I did not. I really, because I mean, like my parents did pretty good as well in there. I had my family and everything. I never had a plan to stay really. It was fun because we like from like a good families, and no, I don't know how to call it. Like all my friends are very from very good families, and we always have fun together when we go, and like just and I. It was really hard to get my parents to let me go because
Mhm.
they like always keep me, you cannot go, you cannot sleep in your friend's house, you cannot do this and that. So for them to let me just go, it was just like something insane. So yeah, but then I met my ex-husband, and then I and I got married. So I didn't plan to stay at all. I had a ticket. I was packing up and that was going, and then yeah, I just got married.
Did you marry the guy that they didn't want you to be with?
No, no, no. I married my ex-husband in America, who that he's the one who's in New York. Yeah, that's how I stayed. I
you
know.
sound you sound a little defiant.
Well, it was crazy. It was the craziest relationship I think I had. We always had so much fun. It was absolutely amazing, actually.
You seem to have a good relationship with your mom and dad despite the divorce, um, and pretty much came from a well-to-do family. Your mom and dad know that you were suffering with this condition.
Well, my father, when he divorced my mom, he couldn't really talk like with me, with her. He was very hurt, whatever. So he didn't really know that. But my mom, yes, and she was like telling me that this is you know that needs to be fixed. But you know what? I don't know how to explain. In back in our country, we don't have a lot of conditions. Like for example, here, condition, you know what's called ADHD, when you
Hmm.
have like attention deficit disorder. So in Russia, they don't really have that diagnosis, or maybe at that time we didn't really have that. Here is like it's well known. They do like treatment and everything. So over there, it doesn't really consider it to be like a serious sickness. So it's like it will go away kind of thing again. You know what I mean? So but my mom, she was telling me, yes, you need to like make sure that it's not, it's like two types of sicknesses, bulimia or not eating at all. And they was worried about not eating at all more because you're really skinny and everything. Here you kind of eating, yes, you're throwing up, is bad, but they thought like it's gonna kind of gonna go away.
Did they, let me, two-part question. did they take accountability that they made that their situation might have contributed to the condition that you have? And if not, did you share with them, hey, mom and dad, I think I'm feeling this way because I still haven't figured out a way to cope with the fact that you guys have separated?
No, I never actually get a chance to do it. They would not. I mean, my parents are this way that they would not accept it. Even I would tell them, "Oh, that's because of you," and they're like, "Yeah, right." That's what would be the answer, I think. They're like, "Okay, go get an apple for yourself and feel better."
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
No.
So when you really realize that this is jeopardizing, relationships, is jeopardizing careers, you said something that was pretty crazy here. You used learning a completely new language as pretty much of part of your treatment. How did that come about, and why?
Well, it kind of was like escape, I would say, because when you're like kind of trying to like concentrate and you have something interesting to do, it's kind of interesting and it's difficult at the same time. So you have to like use all your patience to like sit and like learn and like dig into that and just trying to get the most information, but it's also steer you away kind of from like a food and all that bad stuff. Another thing I would probably consider that bulimia is more emotional disease. So usually it's not just because you're just having a wonderful day and you're like, boom, you just let me go get it, for example, right now. It's more like something happened and it like triggered you to like go and get some like bad stuff. I don't know, a lot of chocolate or something like this. I think it's more like emotional because that's how it was with me. I don't know how with others, it could be different possibly, but with me, that's how it was. And that's why when you at work and you usually have, especially like in restaurant, for example, jobs or bartender jobs, they like really, you have a lot of stress. Somebody having bad mood, you got bad customers and this and that, a manager. So once that something happens, that's like what you like, you right away, you feel like, you need to get that dopamine food, you make yourself happy kind of thing.
What were your triggers?
Stress, stress. Somebody give you crap. you and you go and get trying to get something like I don't know, food or whatever.
But why would you just not change careers? You're going to get crap if you're in that service industry. You're going to get different
Yeah,
personalities, different, that's welcome to America. Welcome to the service industry. It's
right.
almost like if you knew you had the illness, which you probably did, but you still are in an environment that's going to cause those trigger behaviors. So did you really want help, or were you just felt like that you're maintaining and you have control over the illness?
No, here comes the language part. So here comes the language part and the system part, which you don't know. If I would be, for example, back my country where I speak, perfect language with no problem, I would probably go and get another job. But here, you need a, diploma or some kind of education or some kind of skill to go to work for any other jobs. My language wasn't perfect. Especially when I was working in a bar, and what do you say? What do you want to drink? And hello, how are you? And then they get drunk, and obviously they don't care what you say. Obviously, you know what I mean. You give them free drink, free shot, they'll love you. So, but yeah, that's the part. And it was some time. It took me some time to actually go back to college and everything. I had like 2 attempts to go to college to get my language together and everything.
Now, what language were you trying to master?
English,
Really?
English, 100%. You have to speak different. You speak slang mostly, and you have to speak all these different languages because I mean that different language. I'm sorry, I didn't say it correctly. So you have to be able to speak different ways English. It's a street. It's a slang. You gotta know the terminology. Any sphere you go to, you have to know. Like the law style they had using certain terminology. You go in the movie they use it totally different. You go so any other. That's not easy. That's not easy. Whatever I used to learn in the book, and I came with that like, language.
Hmm.
You could just dump it in the trash because now we know we're gonna use it. Absolutely not.
What
It's
made
different.
what made with such barriers? with such barriers, what was the driving purpose to stay in America versus going back to your hometown?
Number one, I'm this kind of person that I'm just like, I'm not a loser to come back empty handed. Since I already stayed and I made a choice as like, getting married. It was a big fight. My parents was, oh my God, if you going to get married, don't come back. Don't hold for us. That's you and your husband, whatever. And I did stay, right? I wanted to get married. I got married. So I kind of had to do it on my own. And then I could go back, yes, but at the same time, I have this kind of character that I'm like, nah, I'm not going empty-handed. I'll get something at least. I'm not, you
So
know.
your parents gave you an ultimatum, basically, since you're married and you want to be grown, then you make it on your own in America. Basically, was the alternative.
Right, absolutely. That's what they told me. Yeah, yep, and that's how actually it was.
Okay, so let me go here. Walk away from the wrong person. What is that about?
The people who not being beneficial in your life and actually steer you away from a good stuff. I think I would say I've done that. I've done that. It was hard. It was difficult. It's like one day I woke up and I'm like, this is not the life I want. Like you just go through your phone and you see all these people, like you have so many people, but they were like not like useless, but it's just not good for you. Like what it's absolutely and it's like the life and that's what I actually did one time. I throw out my phone. I had like all this like contacts and everything. And I'm just, that's not what I want to be. That's not what I want to do. And I just threw that phone out and started my life like from the beginning. I had it one time in New York City.
I
The
thought I
not,
was. I thought
hmm?
I was the only one that ever did that.
No, seriously, because that's probably the best thing you could ever do with your life. Because if you understand that these people completely, absolutely, you have no common interest, you have no nothing, you just meet where I would for the drinks or something. What is giving you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can't even get a good valuable information from these people. Why are you even what? What you can do with them?
It's funny when you did that. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I
Hmm.
remember I had millions of contacts in my phone, and I remember coming out of surgery. It was January 21st on my birthday, and I looked at my phone, and I had this epiphany: like nobody in this phone has picked up the phone and called me
Hmm.
after surgery.
Right.
So I went through and I picked out people that I knew, usually family members and a few close friends. And I literally just got rid of everybody. And it felt like
Good.
at first it was crazy because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Hmm.
Because there were also business contacts, but then I rationalized and was like, you haven't talked to these people in years and nor have they called you. So it was such a load off of my chest when I looked at it. My phone was faster,
Hmm. Right.
but I get what you're saying. So now let me go back to you because this is your story. And I think people need to understand this. You was able to let go and walk away from those people that you thought had purpose in your life, but it changed you. So how did it change you? How difficult was it for you? And how did it change you all the way around?
Well, it changed my life for the better, and I think you did absolutely the right thing. That you just, look on your phone and you had no people calling. This is terrible. This is completely not. I mean, I don't know how to find a correct word for it. Not useless. Useless is kind of harsh, right? But you always have to have people with common interest, something you do or business wise. I think or like at least maybe friend. I don't know. Some people like to have friends, and maybe they need to talk to to each other. But if you don't have that, like I found that I had some people who I just went like these people calling me when they want to go out for drinks. I mean, that's it. What is that? I mean, the other people you just have which just want to do something. That's it. And it was just really not. I would say that another thing you have to get rid of people who not treating you the same as you do treating them. So if you give them, your heart, and they not treating you, not giving you back at least some, some certain quality back, you should definitely get rid of that. So you should definitely not have those people.
Why do you think that is hard for? Let me go back. Let me ask this question. Before making that decision, were you able to handle the bulimia that you was dealing with? Because now you're making a different another step in growth and development is what I might want to call it.
Right. That's the perfect word for it. Absolutely.
So before you made that decision, had you already to get rid of the people that was in your phone? Did you already address and handle the bulimia part of your life?
No, I actually did it before I start handling bulimia and everything. When you get rid of this extra people in your life which you don't need and absolutely have no influence in your life, or no change in your life, then when you find a time, once you get rid of them, you start finding the time to actually concentrate on yourself. Instead of spreading around and giving that energy to people, to wrong people which you don't need in your life, again, they're not helping your growth, they're not helping your future. They're just taking away your precious time, which you never will be back, will be able to get back. So you start finding time for yourself, and that's what you start to actually doing and working on yourself, because you get that time finally once you get rid of them. That's important.
I think people need to realize. I think you probably learned this on your journey that we make time for what's important.
Hmm.
Yeah, and if people aren't validating, giving you that back, it's funny. I'm gonna ask you a question because you're young. I'm gonna ask you this question: why do you think people in this generation have a hard time seeing what you saw and acting on the same principles that you just did? Why do you think that?
You know what? I think I was forced to actually do it, because when you come here from different country, you leave all your life behind. So here I come. I don't have this friends who I grew up with, who you still going to give time, because you kind of build together for what, 10 years, 12 years, all your childhood and everything, you attach to these people. So here you come, you don't have none of this. And you're forced to be in this like grown up, like, a harsh life to be like right now. And another thing, for us who came, for example, from different country, it's like the hardest thing is to like learn the language to the point, not just learn language, hi, hello, how are you, just to like simple conversation, but you have to learn to the point that you can actually show your personality. Because like a lot of people come, they have a lot to offer, they're funny, they this and that, but they don't have that language. And if you're not able to use it to the level to show yourself, this is pretty harsh. You can get friends, you can get, you only like you're gonna get the lowest paying jobs, because again, you don't have that the language. You can't show who you are, what you are, and what you can do. And that's the hardest thing. So I was forced to actually be early to realize those harsh things. And you got no friends, you got no people, like no good jobs, let's put it this way. You have to it's just it's not easy.
Let's talk real quick before we wrap up. Let's talk about the cultural difference. I don't know much about Russia. I don't know much about Ukraine. I know about the Ukraine situation that happened last. I think it was like last year. We know what the media gives us, the propaganda. You grew up on both sides of the track, and then you come to America. What's different? What is the different? What's different in America than it is where you came from, and what fascinated you to plant your flag here as a permanent home?
So, first of all, I can tell you one thing. Every single country, they show their own news. So whatever it says in here, it's total different over there. Whatever that country say there, it's total different in us. It's everywhere. Everywhere. It doesn't matter. But I I think one thing, I love America. I love America. They all, America is very fun, great people and everything. The only one thing is concerning me is like this is the only like biggest country actually which has the biggest homelessness. So in Russia it's a little bit different. We don't really have that much unless you like really, really in a low hit your low point, and you like usually people trying to help each other over there in the point. I'm not saying that they're great, There's a lot of scams going on, 100%. But at least at some, point, they're trying to help each other. In America, I think Americans should help each other. It's very, very important in not like leave, because I felt heartbreaking to see people being on the streets in America. That's like the thing which I think we should help each other, and I will probably try to do something actually about that too when I get to the point, to the level that I can get finance and everything and help some people regarding it. But I love America. America is the country where you can be who you want to be. This is really great. It's very fast. It's very fast, like this. And people
I
are
hear,
great, people nice.
I hear people use that all the time. This is a country that you can be what you want to be. But what about your country? Can't you have those same principles and values?
No, it's more stricter. It's more stricter, and you can't just be who you want to be. Like, they cannot create videos and music videos, whatever Hollywood create in a year, 100%. They'll shut them down. It's impossible. No way.
Well,
Like, you will not see, booties in the. It's different. It's different. Definitely different. Here, it's a lot more freedom. Here, a lot more things you could do. 100%.
so now let me ask you a question before we wrap up. And thanks so much for taking time out to share your beast mindset journey and how you overcame a lot, especially coming from a foreign country here. And glad you're here. My
Thank you. Thanks so much.
my question is, how are you doing now? What are you doing now with your life?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. When I was able to get my language in place, it really opened up a lot of opportunities for you. And I would recommend to every single person, whoever, number one, any country you go to, you learn the language. Once you do that, you master it. And learn street language, because like a lot of people right now out of there and the entertainment and everywhere who rise up from the streets. So once you learn street language, because you have to be able to get along with all, so you must. You just, especially entertainment is like full of that. And streets is make you stronger. They make you like, much more smarter, sharper, and more interesting too. You know what I mean? So definitely a language, and you'll be absolutely okay. Definitely.
You sound like you love it here. Like you literally take every day and like embrace it with such beast mentality that it shows on your face.
Because right now I am like freely go to like any neighborhood or any place, and I fit in. People listen to me. We can have a conversation and everything. I can show myself who I am, who I am. Like, I do acting, modeling right now. I just got influencer program with Facebook and Instagram. They choose me as a creator. It's cool. It's really awesome. It's like I feel like I finally can show what I can do. It's amazing. So I can see you. Even this, it's incredible. I'm serious. It took years for me, but I'm
Now,
here.
let me go here before we wrap up. You do classical piano. Did you just give it up or what?
I did, because I always was a gangster inside. I always was against all of that stuff. Like, I have nothing against
Wait a
classical.
minute. Did you say you was always a gangster inside or you was against it?
Always was a rebel. Like, always. I like classical music. I think it's great. I have nothing against you, but I will not sit and listen to classical music. I always like crap. I'm sorry. I like the hardest one, the heaviest one. Like, it's just me. I'm just not like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a flower girl, I would say. 100%.
So you're just completely giving up playing classical music on the piano? Really?
I did. Yes.
I
Yes.
know your parents are probably going crazy right now, right?
Well, nothing they can do. My father, he used to be a musician too. He was like famous in the group. He was also, but he has a perfect pitch, so he can. Like, I don't have perfect pitch. If I would have perfect pitch, I would probably do a lot of things with that, because you can just like arrange the music whatever you can, right away. And I cannot do that. But he given up. He's just started doing business. You know what I mean? So he cannot tell me anything.
Have you bonded the relationship back with your mom and dad? I know they gave you an ultimatum at the time. You clearly got your life back together. How's that going with you and your mom and your dad now?
Yeah, I'm absolutely with my dad. Currently, we absolutely great. We have a great relationship. We constantly like in contact with him and everything. My mom unfortunately died,
I'm sorry.
but we was it was great. Like, and I had to take care of her for like 2 years. I was back in Russia. I was there with her. Yeah.
So what's next for you? You've done overcome. You've done so much. Definitely have that beast mindset. What's next for you? What's the purpose?
Okay, so I'm trying to open my own. I just built the website for the jewelry, and I'm trying to promote it and to bring it out of there, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. That's like a number one thing which I'm trying to you know
Did you say
make.
jewelry? Did you say
Yeah,
jewelry?
yeah,
What's the
yeah.
name of the jewelry? What kind of jewelry is it?
It's a metalux. So I have gold and I have silver with moissanite. I believe. All right, I'll show you this. I believe moissanite is a future diamond because it has the same quality as a diamond, but it doesn't cost so much, right? But you cannot figure it out until you bring it in the lab.
Oh yeah, moissanite are man-created diamonds.
Yeah, I love it, and I think it's great because you know what? I have experience with like working from paycheck to paycheck, right? You also want to look good, but you don't want to spend a fortune because you have a mortgage going on, you have like other payments. You got to be smart with your money. So this is like a smart way of be shiny. It's still investments since it's a silver, and silver goes up, as you know. So if you want even like get the money from this, for example, bracelet, you can. You bring it, they give you like for the silver. And also if you want to bring it on the red carpet or anywhere, nobody would ever say that it's not a diamond. You do the diamond tester, will pass. Yeah, it's like affordable luxury jewelry. And I also have, of course, gold and the real diamonds and stuff and everything. It's online only business. And that's what I'm trying to bring out of there right now.
You know what? I am honored that you showcased your new product on our show. I encourage people to support because I think if we do that, we show our humanitarian side by
Absolutely.
supporting one another. How can the viewers reach out to you and know more about your new business venture?
So it's Meta Lux Jewelry. You can find it on Instagram. It's also online. Meta dash Lux dash Jewelry dot. It's a clover online.com. But probably Instagram would be the best and the easiest. It's a Meta Lux Jewelry. METALUX and then the jewelry. So yeah.
I'm glad you spelt that because I couldn't pronounce that if you paid me to.
Oh my god.
You know what, baby girl? Thank you so much for taking time out to come on the show and share such a beautiful story about overcoming and keeping that beast mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe, like, share, follow. In the meantime, this has been another, and I do mean another, exciting episode of the Andre the
By
Beast.
the way, may I add my Instagram page? It's a Chinchilla Lux. Please follow and likes. I will follow you back too. By the way, it's a chinchilla, like a chinchilla, the furry. It's my nickname since I was little. Chinchilla Lux with a
So
double
does,
L.
does that mean that you're selling the chinchillas as well?
So yes, that's why they give me, the nickname, and that's what I'm using for my my Instagram.
Okay, guys, make sure you follow that Instagram page as well. This has been another, and I do mean another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show, 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 show.